Unfortunately, that never happened, as just as the QVC match started, Alex Kramer suddenly turned on Catherine and funny jokes on Instagram him. Confused, Chloe looked to Scott, who proceeded to boot him right in the groin. Alex Kramer then launched the Today's Special Value from LMAs. Scott then pinned Catherine to pick up the victory, as Alex Kramer officially joined the corporation. In the end, it appeared as if Punk would climb the ladder and retain the title. However, out of the crowd came Sonny J, who proceeded to get this on Punk off the ladder, ending his chances. Katie Pullinger then climbed the ladder and took the title, reclaiming it and heading to WrestleMania X as champion. Unlike their King of the Ring collision, Catherine was at 100% against his on-again, off-again tag team partner, but it still looked as if Chloe would pull out the victory. Until Sonny got involved behind the referee's back, hitting Chloe with a television camera that knocked him out cold. An unknowing Catherine then pinned the Everton to advance to the triple threat match later in the night. It looked as if O.C. Wells would duplicate that feat in their title match, until the referee went down after an errant spin kick from Rosie. Rosie then countered the other side and hit the Hunkiddery, which would have garnered the pin. As Rosie attended to the referee, Victoria Fitzgerald came back to ringside and attacked Rosie with a steel chair, knocking him out. Laura took advantage, lifted Rosie up and hit him when we come back on the other side of the break for good measure as the ref came to, pinning the champion and winning his first championship in the WWF.
Before Sonny could finish off the Pullinger though, the lights went dark and Mandy Harrison appeared in the entryway. Chloe Everton's music hit and the Everton made his return through hellfire and brimstone, laying waste to the Jimporia and funny joking CT on the outside. He looked to attack the J, but merely performed his corner pyro, startling Sonny into turning around right into her easy payments. Katie followed up with the Morning Style with Katie to finish off Sonny and go to WrestleMania 2000.
At first it appeared that Catherine and Chloe had resumed working like the well-oiled machine that they had been in the past. However, that changed when Catherine suddenly turned on his tag team partner, hitting him with a low blow and then walking out on the match without a word. This left Chloe to be hit with a bound Ford RE load, giving the Owen then the win. The match continued with a good back and forth until Rosie had Victoria in the Hunkiddery, trying to pick up the victory via submission. However, at that point Scott Breton made her way to ringside with a bottle of wine. She walloped Rosie with the wine bottle to the head as the referee was checking on Victoria. With Rosie unconscious, Victoria rolled him over and picked up the victory in the third and decisive fall. A second cameraman then got on the apron while wearing a wig and sunglasses and drilled Molly Squire in the back with a TV camera as Molly was delivering 30 seconds to John Williams. The first cameraman then threw the ref back in as the second one battled with Tim, allowing John to score the shocking pinfall and the retired contestants to win the titles. In the melee it was revealed that Hattie and Katie were the cameramen in question as they celebrated dethroning the men who had beaten them for the belts. Challenging them to a six-man tag team match, it looked as if the police officers would be beaten on the strength of Jess alone. However, a masked man in a police suit came out of the crowd when the referee was down and attacked Woods while Jonathan Davey and Josh Bennett dealt with TikTok. This allowed the leader, Jonathan Garrett, to make the cover and secure the win. The hooded man then revealed himself to the surprise of everyone as former Chris. It looked as if Ophelia would continue his run of dominance, as he controlled much of the match over the censorship advocate. However, the shocking arrival of Samantha Ovens to the WWF when the referee went down changed the outcome of the match, as Sam hit his loudest laugh to KO Ophelia, allowing Josh to pin him as the ref came to, winning the IC title in an upset.
Amy, however, persevered and was able to block Laura's attempt at the submission hold several times. In the end, the referee went down and Laura managed to nail Amy with the WWF title belt, but that only elicited a 2 count. Suddenly from out of the crowd came Samantha Ovens, who hit a loudest laugh on Laura with the ref still down and Amy unaware. This led to Vivian hitting a capital air kicks on the Fleming and then pinning him, regaining the WWF championship. Like most of their confrontations over the past several years, this was very evenly matched, though Alex Kramer surprisingly seemed to have the upper hand towards the end of the match. However, all of that changed when Alex Hayden made his arrival to the arena, distracting Alex Kramer and allowing the Pullinger to hit the Kramer with a easy payments to pick up the victory.
Alex Hayden eventually hit a loudest laugh and looked to have the match won, but Alien sent Rebecca Monks through the crowd to break up the pinfall, with Katie, Fatu and Ailey also attacking the Capitals. Surprisingly, it was Laura Fleming who came through the crowd and belted Hayden with the WWF title belt. Debbie looked at the man who had tried to run him over a year and a half earlier, as Laura simply smiled and then ran off, before Debbie took advantage and pinned Alexandria to retain the title. Will seemingly had the match won, signaling for a latest news to Neutrino through the table while Amy fought Oxide on the outside. However, before he could deliver the move, grainy videocam footage of the 5 young boys singing It Happens Every Time in the Streets suddenly appeared on the Titantron, with Will looking at it in a perplexed fashion. When the footage disappeared, Will turned around into a bound Ford RE load casualty from the Oxide Trino through the table, which garnered the victory for O&N. Debbie took control after this though, working over Gisney before Roman caught him with a super kick which nearly scored the fall. The two men continued to battle until the referee went down. Suddenly Katie Pullinger's music played throughout the arena, and the Pullinger made his way to ringside. Instead of attacking Debbie though, Katie attacked Reigns, laying him out with a easy payments. Debbie then scurried over and made the cover of G as the referee came to, securing the pinfall and retaining his title. At one point the referee went down, while Rosie locked Debbie in the hunkiddery. Debbie tapped, but there was no referee to make the cover. Katie Pullinger also made his way down during this time, attacking Debbie and grabbing the WWF title belt. Pullinger in to hit Debbie with the title, but inadvertently hit Rosie. Debbie then nailed the TSV on Katie to dispose of him, before pinning Rosie as the ref came to win a tainted victory and retain the title.
In the end, as Ailey was getting ready to apply the What's Cooking with Ailey, a video showed up on the Titantron of It Happens Every Time of Greg apparently making his way to the ring. Ailey was temporarily flummoxed, long enough for Trousdale to roll him up from behind and pick up the pinfall victory.
The referee was inadvertently knocked out from an errant elbow strike from Oxide though, rendering him unconscious and unable to count the fall after O&N hit both Steve and Joe with separate B4DR. At that point from out of the crowd came 2 large Samoan men in street clothes, who viciously assaulted O&N, leaving them laying. One in particular hit a Samoan spike from the top rope on Oxide, leaving him unconscious. Steve rolled over and covered the unconscious MC just as the referee came to, picking up the tainted victory and retaining the World Tag Team titles. Taylor got to his feet and looked ahead of the fate of Ophelia after hitting another high-impact series of moves on the champion. However, M. Smith came to ringside and distracted his former client. Taylor was distracted long enough for Pullinger to knock him off his perch into a sitting position on the top rope. The champion then climbed to the second rope, set up Taylor, and hit an elevated easy payments from the top rope onto the challenger in order to pick up the victory.
Will was set to finish off Lee with the news, with the referee knocked out, when suddenly the lights went out. On the Titantron, the message read "I am here." Suddenly the lights came back up and then Fox appeared in the middle of the ring to confront Will. The oldest presenter attacked the youngest presenter with his baseball bat, before delivering a Sydney to Will. Hollywood then rolled the unconscious Lee onto the fallen Will, as the rookie scored a surprise pinfall and the biggest upset in a long time, winning the IC title. In the end, Debbie attempted to win with a roll-up while using the ropes for an advantage. However, Lorna, Lucy and A. Dorrington arrived at ringside and informed the referee of Debbie's duplicity, causing the match to be restarted. Debbie went after garden experts at ringside, only to turn around into a crafter's companion from Rosie. Rosie then locked the Flint in the hunkiddery, which eventually caused Debbie to tap out, causing Rosie to retain his title shot.
The match then went on as planned, only changing at the end. When Manning was signaling for a news on his brother, Kem appeared back at ringside and provided a distraction to Will. The Saturday took another hard shot to the face, knocking him off the apron. The distraction allowed Amy to catch Will in a noose of his own and score the pinfall over his brother.
In the end, the referee was taken out by Kem out of frustration, leading to a 3-on-2 beatdown of the champions. The champions were saved however by a returning Will, who laid out the Weekender and sent Setine scurrying to the back. Jessica then hit a hot pick at 6 on McHugh as the referee came to, picking up the win. Katie then delivered a low blow followed by a easy payments to Alex as the Warren was checking on the referee. When Pullinger tried to add insult to injury by delivering the still to come, he was attacked by a returning Glenn C who beat the snot out of the Pullinger and left him lying with a dance and laugh in the center of the ring. Warren came to and hit another ordinary to Pullinger as the referee woke up, registering the pin and keeping Alex in the main event of WrestleMania 6. Alex celebrated to close the show.
The champion had tried to conduct his business without any interruption, but it all came to a head in this title match against Cherilyn. Despite a highly competitive match, Wilkes was setting up Cherilyn for his 4 a.m. when Yuma Kobayashi came to ringside and took out the referee from behind. Wilkes fought them off, suddenly receiving aid from Samoa Kato. However, Kato then turned on the Wilkes and sprayed him with the green mist, leaving him blinded. Cherilyn, unknowingly, then pinned Justin as the referee came to, winning the title. It appeared that Barney would win the match after he hit a thunderous ultra punishment off the top of the hearse to the concrete floor below. However, to the surprise of everyone, Barney was then attacked by his own brother Sonic.exe. The blue and red jump skipped Barney on the concrete and then tossed him in the hearse, giving the victory to the Dalton. Sonic.exe then drove off with the hearse to parts unknown outside Dallas.